Assalamu Alaikum everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So today we just want to talk about the markets, okay, and what is happening right now. We haven't done any of these videos for a while, so I want to look at the markets generally, see what is happening in the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, QQQ, the Nasdaq that is. And we also need to look at some news from Michael Burry. Okay, I'm sure you've heard from, basically if you watch the news you will hear something about that guy. Palo Alto reported Friday when the market closed, as well as my plan for moving forward and what I'm going to do in the next few weeks. And then I'm going to talk about some earnings, some companies that are reporting their earnings, including Nvidia, in the next couple of days, inshallah. So that's the plan for this video. It shouldn't be long. I just want to make sure that basically we're just up to date when it comes to the news. The one thing I've always said to you guys, if you haven't done it so, is to join us on the Patreon account, please, if you can. It really does help the channel. It keeps us going, and you get those, basically you'll find out anytime I'm buying a new stock and you're selling something, portfolio updates. You get the different dividend trackers for the US and the UK. You got the dividend calendars as well. I'm currently working on updating the dividend trackers. You got the watch list that I've actually showed you last video, one before. You got private Discord where you can join us, inshallah, where you can hopefully, we're trying to build like-minded people. If you haven't joined us on that one, just join us, and then share basically the Sharia compliant investing ebook that I've actually put together. So you got a few things in there, obviously, and if you can join us on that, well, that would be really helpful. Let's get started with the video. So the first thing we're going to look at is the S&P 500. So S&P 500 just for the 1 month is actually down almost to 4%. But when you look at the 6 months, it's actually up about 9.3%. So this month is actually gone kind of downhill. And for whatever reason, this happens in every August. August is basically a month where I think in the US, there's a lot of people, I think around the world anyway, that are still on holiday. People haven't caught up with what's going on in the markets and so on. And then September comes, and September is actually never good for the stock market. I've not, over the last few years, if you basically look at the performance of the S&P 500 or any other Dow Jones or basically the QQQ, you will notice that it's never good for the market. So September is basically a month where I actually usually buy quite a bit of stocks. This month, I'm not sure because I'm short of cash when it comes to, I'm just going to stick with 1,000 for the next couple of months. But still, I will buy if I find great opportunities. I won't hesitate to buy. But yeah, so it's down basically about 4%. So that gives us some opportunities. So in the next few weeks, I'll be looking at the S&P 500, especially dividend paying companies as well as non-dividend paying companies, and then obviously share that with you guys, inshallah, moving forward. The next is the Dow Jones. Okay, if you look at for the 1 month as well, it's down about 2%. Is not up as much as the the S&P 500, but as you can see, it's actually up about 4%. Okay, for the 4 months, but for the 1 month, it's down about 2%. Again, so similar sort of a story. So this story is not just basically one thing, or limited to just one part of the market. Okay, if you look at, for example, the QQQ, which basically tracks the Nasdaq, okay, 100, you can also see basically it's down about 5%. Now, if you look at a year to date, that's a different ballgame. It's up 22%. So that doesn't give you the full picture. So if you hear people talking about the stock markets are down or whatever, just look at the bigger picture. Always focus on the bigger picture. Okay, 1 month, yeah, things look basically horrible. We're down with basically things are bad. But then you look at the 6 months, you're like, okay, cool. Or even a year to date, 35% for year to date. So like, for example, here, if we look at the year to date, we're basically looking at about 4%. Year to date for the S&P 500, 14%. But 1 month, things are not great. And if you look at the S&P 500, basically for the whole, basically since for the last 6 months, even if you look at just the year to date performance, okay, everything basically, especially in the technology side of things, is there, everything is green. But you will see there are a few other companies that are also basically doing really well. But yeah, majority of the markets is actually done really well. There are companies that have not participated is healthcare. So there might be opportunities healthcare for us to look at. and then obviously do a little bit more research. Again, it could be the fact that they were overvalued and now they're fairly valued and so on. But it looks like the technology companies, a lot of them are overvalued simply because they have participated in that run up to God knows what. You've got companies like Tesla, which is up 75% for the year. You've got Nvidia, that's up 196%. That's absolutely huge. You got companies like Adobe. Since the day I sold, this stock has been going up to the moon every single day. Now, talking about Nvidia, okay, there are companies that are reporting this week coming. So you've got Zoom, you've got a few other companies reporting this week. Medtronic for me will be interesting to see. Okay, that company is reporting. Lowe's is reporting. For example, I don't own it anymore. Toll Brothers, for example, is reporting. Peloton is reporting. What else is reporting? Nvidia. So Nvidia, one is day after market closes, that's when they report. Snowflake will also report, and Autodesk. So it will be interesting to see these three companies on what they say, especially with Nvidia. Nvidia has gone up so much, like almost 200% since the beginning of the year. And now a lot of people are saying this is really overvalued, and basically the current price is already basically baked in the fact that we're going to see a really good report. If we don't see a very good report, then this is definitely going to go down. This is going to go down 10, 15, 20%. But we need to see a good report, okay, for the sake of the company and so on. But yeah, this is really overvalued. Every year we have one stock that's really, really overvalued, and that's basically Nvidia right now. It used to be Tesla, but right now is Nvidia. Okay, so there's darling at the moment when it comes to AI and everything else. And then we also have Intuit, which is a great company that I'm kind of watching, keeping an eye on. Seems really good company, but the one of the only reasons I've not invested in this company is because they actually do like a software for bookkeeping and so on for small companies and so on. And apparently the US government are trying to come out with their own kind of software, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. But yeah, it's a great company. They have excellent dividend. They have grown. Actually, I think they've gone up since I've actually discovered. They've been going up and up every single week. Now, going back to here. So this is really important. So one of the other thing I want to talk about today is the Palo Alto. Palo Alto Networks actually reported their earnings, and they have gone up since. So the network pops as a Q4 results overpowered 2024 guidance. So they had their own guidance. Basically, they come up with their own guidance. Obviously, remember, these analysts will say, yep, you're going to make this much based on what we've seen so far. And the company came up and said, nope, we will do better than that. And that's what happened to Nvidia. Nvidia did exactly the same thing. They came up and said, nope, you told us you expect us to do this, but we're not going to do that. We're even going to do better than that. So they have actually now said, nope, we're not going to basically do this. Okay, we're not going to do this basically, which was the estimate $10.77 billion. They said, no, we're going to do $10.9 to $11 billion. So just because of that little whatever, it's actually the price has gone up. Okay, again, same things basically goes for when it comes to the revenue side of things as well. For that reason, the stock is actually up right now as we speak. So when the market opens tomorrow, this company will pop about 11%. So from $209 per share, it will go up to $233 per share. Let's see what happens when the market opens. But that's what's going to happen so far. So it's really good to see that. I was hoping it will go the other way. Okay, I was hoping that it will be down for 11. They might say the guidance is not great or missed something. They actually have missed. In fact, if I show you, they missed the one of the, I think it was either. So yeah, so the EPS they beat, but the revenue they missed. So they were expecting, okay, basically less than, it was basically missed by what 10 million. But a year on year, which is very important, okay, it has grown for almost a 26% grown year on year. So this time last year, they reported, and they are up right now about 26% more than they were basically this time last year. So which is quite good. That's what we want to see for this type of business to report. Final thing I want to talk about is this news here. Okay, and this one is very interesting. Traders predicted 2008 financial crisis. If you don't know who basically Michael Burry is, he's the guy, basically the big short guy. Okay. and he's now shorting the market. He's betting the market, okay, on stock market crash by the end of 2023. So by the end of this year, he's saying basically he's betting $1.6 billion that the market will actually go down. I think what he's done is he bought puts, what's called puts basically. I think it was 890 million of for the S&P 500, and then another 740 million for the QQQ, basically the two that we just looking at. So the S&P 500 he bought basically 890 million, and when it comes to QQQ he bought, which is basically this, okay, he bought 740 million puts. So we will see what happens. We will see if he's right. So just the final thing I want to talk about is, so based on everything that's happening, the market is down about 4%, whatever, 5% this month. Michael Burry is saying we're going to crash and so on. What am I doing? I'm just going to continue doing what I have been doing, which is basically buy quality companies that are basically cheap at that point, okay? Right now, there are a few companies on my watch list. If you haven't seen my watch list video, go and watch that. Okay, so I'm gonna keep basically adding to the companies that I have already. If I find an opportunity somewhere else, obviously I will add to this. And like I said in one of the last videos, I'm no longer just focusing on dividend paying companies. As you can see, Palo Alto does not pay any dividends, and hopefully it will pop up. There we go. So about 11% basically when the market opens tomorrow. So I'm going to continue buying quality companies. My plan for going forward for at least next 2 months anyway is to add the £250 a week continuously, religiously. That's what I've been doing for a very long time. And when I get closer to the end of the year, and when I have my for example basically my overall ISA allocation, like for example right now I have to put in £12,000 before the 6th of April. So closer to the end of that, basically maybe around January, February and so on, I add more money, inshallah, and by then I should have more money. Right now I've spent quite a bit of cash on certain things that I'm doing, which inshallah I will be sharing with you guys in the coming months. Inshallah I will give you a bit more update and news, inshallah. But yeah, so that's the plan, £250 every single week, regardless of what is happening in the market. Okay, I'm looking at all the companies that I own. I have my own watch list. I don't care what's happening. If the market completely crashes, okay, I do have some cash lying basically somewhere else, so I can just pull that out and hopefully buy more of these companies that are really basically cheap. Hopefully, if that happens between now and December, bring it on. I don't really care. But I remember what happened 2020 on the March 13 or whatever, 17, whatever it was. I do remember the day the market crashed, and I do remember the market's been halted and all sorts of things happening on that day. Guess what happened? Since then we are up so much. So if a market crashes, I'm sure we will recover, we'll go up again, and the people that are going to make money are the people that will be buying on that day, not the people that are selling. So be part of those who are buying, not selling on that day. If you have cash lying around and so on, buy quality companies. Don't buy some rubbish companies or whatever you think, penny stocks that's going to go up to the moon and so on, inshallah. Anyway, that's the news. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. I've got a few more videos planned for this week. If you haven't joined us on the Discord and Patreon, please do so. It really helps the channel, as well as liking the video. It doesn't cost you a penny. Just like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any questions. I will be going through subscriber questions next few days, inshallah, and I'll put a video together to answer some of your basically burning questions, inshallah, going forward. Have a wonderful day. Assalamu Alaikum.